Welcome back to Roll and Review, where we talk about all things nerdy and awesome. I'm Jim, and welcome back to our stupid simple reviews. This time, Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, Assassin's Creed Origins, highly anticipated prequel to the Assassin's Creed games. You guys see the founding of the Assassins, and there was a lot that we were expecting from it, with um, an RPG style of play and leveling up character, um, buying and upgrading weapons as opposed to just buying the one that's given and the stats being set. As you level up, you can upgrade your weapons, make them better, and the lack of free flow. And all of this really excited me to begin with, but I have to say, I ended up disappointed. And I'll break it down over a few things. So, one, the story. It's a basic revenge story. There's really nothing special about it. And even with that, the pacing is super awkward because you go for hours from mission to mission, plenty of stuff to do in between to get up your level and between to get to the next uh, difficulty spike for the main missions. And then you start one of the last missions of the game, and they basically squeezed 4 or 5 missions into one and just shove you through. And it's just this dump of story when you've been getting story here or there and then finding out about the world. It's just this giant dump and feels really rushed at the end. And then you have like one more mission after that to finish the game. Um, so that was really weird and awkward. I didn't like that. I wish they had at least broken that up into a couple different missions, or since it was a simple revenge story, I mean, it didn't have to be all that complicated. And it really wasn't, because the story was straightforward. You're getting a revenge for your murdered son, and you think you get your revenge, and then you don't, and you think you get your revenge, and and they just keep like, hey, you're done? Nope, sorry, move on. You got more to do. Um, and even there were times even the character Bayek was like, okay, we'll do this because we'll get revenge. And I was like, I wasn't into the story. It didn't entice me into to going further and more and deeper. I just didn't care. By the end, I was just like, let me just be done with this. I frankly don't give a shit. The next thing is the combat. Now, I'm very happy they're getting away from the free flow combat, which we've seen in Assassin's Creed games since they've been made, where you can really just sit back, hit counter, and then strike to kill whoever's attacking you. It's a very similar system to what Shadow of War has, and it's boring. Combat gets stale. However, this combat just didn't seem polished. It kind of had more of like almost like a Dark Souls type style, but that's not the really style of game that they generally do. The hitbox on the characters just seemed to be a little bit too small, or your reach was just a little bit too small, because while any normal person, when trying to slash with a sword, might take a step forward to slash to make sure you hit your target, there were so many times you could easily just miss, and you got screwed. And the dodging system really wasn't good. It would often make you dodge so far away that you couldn't quickly counter with a strike unless you hit it just perfectly. And so the combat system just needed to be polished. It didn't feel like they had really done everything they could to make it accessible to players and work to the best of its abilities. Now, talking about polish, so this game is a general Ubisoft game with like zero polish on it. And I'll say it because of this. There are so many bugs. Now, it's not Unity style where like you're missing a face on somebody, or their face is inside out, or some shit like that. It's not that bad. But there were multiple times I would like ride down the street and I'm like, what the fuck happened to the ground? And I realized the ground hasn't rendered yet. It just, and then like I would be looking around and eventually it would render. Or you'd whistle for your horse and this amorphous blob that kind of looks like a horse appears and kind of starts running towards you, and then it renders. Um, there were just too many things like that. I was like, oh dear God, like, why didn't the ground render? Or like, why did the rendering of the ground just like cease? It was fine from a distance. I got closer, and then it went to crap, and then had to come back later. Like, there were so many of those visual bugs, and along with that, like I get it, big open world games require lots of computing power. Wow, I'm dumb. Power, and so those things happen, but there were plenty of times in cutscenes that I was so shocked that things just went right through each other. There's in a lot of the scenes with the assassinations of main people. Uh, he had a feather, and there were a few times he like went to go touch to his head, and it like morphed through his head and came. I was like, it's a cutscene. You can literally make this as perfect as possible because there's nothing I can do to interfere with this. Why aren't you doing that? So there were a lot of those visual bugs. Now, all that being said, that sounds very negative, but the world does look beautiful when it renders. When you get to a high point and you look out and you see Egypt, it looks wonderful. You can see the kind of the glory of the Great Pyramids from a distance, and you can get closer and closer. You can explore all of those things, all of those tombs that I was so excited to explore as being in ancient Egypt. I got to look through the Great Pyramids of Giza, and that is so cool to me. I was so happy about that, and I was really happy that they really got the mythos of Egypt down right. The second I saw the feather on an assassination, I knew exactly what it was, and the heart. Really, it's supposed to be kind of signifying the heart being weighed against the feather, which was ancient Egyptian mythos when it comes to death. Was a person's heart would be weighed against the feather, and if it was lighter, they would move on. If not, they would they'd move on to what they called in the game the field of reeds. If not, they would be devoured, and it's like their version of hell. That mythos was great, and there was so much to do in that game. Seriously, I played for so long doing so many side quests, and it wasn't just simply like the Skyrim side quests after you've done the storyline for like the Thieves Guild, where it's just like, hey, just go change the numbers here, or just go do this. Yes, of course, they're basic, fetch or destruct kills, like those kinds of missions, but they gave a little bit of story on each one that was just slightly unique from the other one. So yes, you're doing a lot of similar types of stories, because there are only so many stories you can do for these side quests, but they all had their own personal little flavor that I really enjoyed. So when it comes down to it, how do I feel about this game? The game's okay. I'm disappointed they left out things I really wish they would have put in, or just didn't polish things the way that they really should have. When it comes to either the new combat system they're working with or just the general visuals, it still very much felt like an Ubisoft game. And we all know that means there's just a little bit of non-polish to it. And so that really like disappointed me in the game. And I expected, and maybe it was I expected so much from the game that I was going to be disappointed, but it is what it is. If we're going on a number scale, it's 6.57. If you got the spare cash, go ahead and pick it up. You're gonna play it for hours and hours and hours. There's just that much to do in the game. But it's just not worth, and you know, go out and buy everything now. You don't need to buy all the DLC and do all that. Um, we don't know what the DLC is going to be, but you know what? The game just wasn't that good. You'll have plenty of fun with the game as it is. You have um, you start the assassins, you see all that cool assassin stuff at the end, make some cool ties with Rome. It was just disappointing overall. So that's what I gotta say about the game. 6.5. Yeah, if you got the spare change, go ahead and go buy it. You will enjoy it for a long time. Anyway, thanks for coming. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you're notified when we post new videos like this one, or start live streaming, which we do on Tuesdays and Fridays. Some frequencies of things like that hopefully settle out. A lot of stuff's been going on, so bear with us. But if you have your own opinions about the game, if you think I missed something, or you want to tell me I'm a horrible human being like all those Skyrim people did, please tell me in the comments down below. I love hearing what you guys think. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I read all of the comments when they come, and I respond to them. So please leave us a comment down below. Anyway, there's probably some boxes around here or somewhere showing up. Those are our other videos. Go ahead and check them out. We really appreciate it. See you later.